Good day! I am Domalaon, a part-time instructor at the College of Teacher Education, the Lewis College. I am handling GEC subjects such as Introduction to Philosophy, Ethics, Purposive Communication, Gender and Society, and the Contemporary World. Currently, I am taking Masters of Arts in Education major in English at Sorsogon State College, Sorsogon City. The title of my research is RAFT, Developmental Reading Engagement and Assessment Mechanism to Read. This research explores the reading engagement of grade 7 students. The group is composed of 10 grade 7 students who participated in the study. Based on the analysis of related research results, considering the existing problems, the main contents of this paper include the following aspects: the demographic profile of the respondents in terms of gender, age, language spoken at home, attitude scale, and the Philippine Informal Reading Inventory were used to determine the problems. Cognitive aspect of students to word recognition and comprehension that affect the reading engagement of students, considering the role of the reader, audience, format, and topic. Remediation program can be offered to improve the reading engagement. The research highlights the value of including students' reading engagement in the teaching and learning process, allowing students to interact with their peers and the teacher, which enabled the researcher to construct a better instructional approach to assist the students in their progress as engaged readers. The students shared their understanding and interpretation of printed text in the form of raft. In addition, this study extends knowledge that raft plays a key role in secondary level academic reading literacy development. The descriptive evaluative method of research, both quantitative and qualitative, was used to diagnostic test administered among 10 respondents involved in the study. Tabulation of the results in test and field area analysis and interpretation data gathered were the methods used to measure these skills. This research determined the reading engagement of students inside the classroom. Specifically, the study seeks to answer the following questions. First, what demographic profile of grade 7 students in terms of their age, gender, and language spoken at home? Second, how raft affect reading engagement of students in terms of word recognition and comprehension? Third, what remediation program can be offered to improve the reading engagement of grade 7 students? Students' reading engagement has an important impact on learning. Guthrie defines reading engagement as a process where readers read a text in a meaningful manner. Therefore, it is necessary to analyze and study the engagement of students to assess their development in order to facilitate intervention to help students improve their engagement in the learning process. Teachers can support children's reading engagement if they provide ample opportunities for independent reading. Opportunities for independent reading will build fluency and allow children to increase their level of confidence. Developmental Reading Engagement and Assessment Mechanism, or DREAM, is a design program by the author to help students develop their appreciation for reading. It enhances the basic reading skills such as comprehension, vocabulary, and other reading-based strategies. It is important to develop the ability of the students to understand concepts that they need to advance their career. Nevertheless, it is more useful when they are able to share it in the community-based supplemental reading exercises and classroom activities. Increasing classroom talks will establish a community in which all members feel respected and accountable. Thus, student engagement in an English classroom is vital in maximizing students' learning. The researchers' observation on the quantity and quality of student engagement in English classroom is the primary reason for conducting this study. For several years, it was observed that only few students are engaging in a classroom discussion. Most of these students are the ones who can easily engage in the lesson being presented in class. Majority of the learners are becoming spectators and seldomly participate in the class sessions. Students' engagement can be divided into behavioral engagement, cognitive engagement, and emotional engagement. Within a social cognitive framework, behavioral, environmental, and cognitive or personal characteristics all interact to influence an individual's development. Based on the observation, the researcher hypothesizes that the possible reasons are: these students need more time to understand the concepts, and the method of instruction being implemented in class has to be reinforced. The researcher considers adopting a better way of scaffolding classroom discourse to increase conceptual understanding and student engagement. However, one adverse effect of encouraging discourse and conceptual development during class time is the possibility of sacrificing the content and competencies required in a certain level. This can be accomplished when reading and engagement are integrated in a reading classroom. As stipulated by Guthrie and J. Van Manen, when reading and engagement are integrated in a reading classroom, the students' engagement in reading is facilitated. The process of knowing their role as the reader, students' understanding of the text allows them to conceptualize and strengthen the comprehension of the text. In addition, the simultaneous process of reading and writing provides a space for students to engage in the meaning construction, which consequently prepare them to become effective readers. This research is aimed at investigating the role of raft in fostering students' engagement in reading, with reference to word recognition and comprehension. The method was employed to gain insight into the area under study, as well as to illuminate the existing problem faced by the respondents. Additionally, the intended purpose of the research was to have an in-depth understanding of the role played by raft in contributing to the engagement of reading among students in the reading classroom. As aptly put by Patton, qualitative case study seeks to understand conditions in their natural context and the interactions that take place. The descriptive method was used in this study to achieve its objectives. The descriptive method of research is fact-finding study with accurate and fair interpretation of findings. It involves description, recording, and collection of data analysis to garner the desired answer to the questions concerning the present status of the subject of the study. A researcher-made survey profile questionnaire on the demographic profile of the respondents, attitude scale, and the Philippine Informal Reading Inventory was utilized. The conceptual framework of this study illustrated in Figure 1. This shows the input, process, and the output of the study. The inputs of this study are the developmental reading engagement skills that have been developed by the students and their attitude towards reading and participation. These data were gathered through a set of checklists and diagnostic tests made by the researcher. The data acquired was tabulated and correlated for deeper analysis and interpretation. This represents the process of the present study. Further, Figure 1 shows the three basic constructs. The first structural block constitutes the respondent's reading engagement, the respondent's reading comprehension skills, attitudes towards readings, and the demographic profile had bearings or effects upon the student's ability or skill in reading engagement. The second construct of this study specifically dealt on the respondent's reading engagement based on RAFT. This is to determine the reading engagement of students. The researcher conducted diagnostic tests in reading. The third part of this study is the remedial instructional materials that can be utilized to improve reading engagement of grade 7 students and the proposed remedial program, which can be used by students in enhancing their reading comprehension skills to improve their love for reading. Results and discussion. RAFT is a functional tool in teaching reading to enhance reading competencies to be able to actively engage in class time discussion. A great way to build student comprehension of a text is to provide students with pre, during, and post-reading strategies. In order to actively engage students in their text, you will need to provide students with an array of teaching strategies, as well as remind them that reading requires them to think with their minds before, during, and after reading. Before reading, activating learners' prior knowledge or schema of the topic to prepare the mind to interact with new information contained in the text. Students need overt instruction and practice in the before reading test and strategies to become part of their repertoire of study skills. The teacher models the process and then encourages students to work in groups to practice. This scaffolding of strategy instruction helps students internalize the skills so they will develop the ability to use them independently. During reading, the reader interacts with the text and monitors comprehension, the ideal points which the material is not clear or the terms are not familiar. It can be applied to help readers to understand the four components of strategy, namely, role as readers, the audience, written formats, and the reading topic. After reading, post-reading strategies provide students a way to summarize, reflect, and question what they have just read. In addition, RAF can improve students' ability to think critically because it requires that the students examine the topic that they have studied from a different perspective from that of their own. Then, discuss the topic for an audience in unfamiliar format. Simon in 2012 believes that RAFs enable students to realize their role as readers by using RAF as a reading strategy. The readers demonstrate their ideas in order to make the receiver or the audience understand what has been read. Moreover, Simon says that RAF reading strategy helps students to be more aware of the audience and adapt new formats for effective classroom engagement. Therefore, the above-mentioned strategies can help students to think innovatively during the process of reading, because it is used to demonstrate students' knowledge by using a defined point of view. The students are asked to analyze, synthesize, generalize, and evaluate the information. From the foregoing theories, the researcher theorized that to improve reading engagement of students, they should understand their role as readers, the audience they will address during class discussion, the varied formats for reading, and the topic they'll be sharing about. By using this strategy, teachers encourage students to deliver the message creatively, to consider a topic from a different perspective, and to gain practice speaking for different audiences. And to improve, their passion for reading must be fully developed. Presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data. This includes the presentation, analysis, and interpretation of data gathered regarding the most difficult reading comprehension skills that affect our reading engagement of grade 7 students. According to Guthrie, students are engaged readers when they employ reading strategies, are motivated to read, have desire to extend existing knowledge, and are socially interactive. Table 1. Gender respondents. There were 7 females and 3 males, a total of 10 students. The number of females dominated the number of males, resulting to limited population for the male respondents. Table 2. Ages of respondents. Table 2 shows the ages of the respondents in this study. Their ages range from 11 to 13 years. Most of the respondents belong to age of 12, with a frequency of 6 and a corresponding percentage of 60%, followed by the age group of 13, with a frequency of 3 and with a percentage of 30%, and the age of 11, with a frequency of 1 and a percentage of 10. This shows that the students are young, and age affects their reading comprehension skills, because their exposures to words are limited. Thus, using technology, gadgets in this era affects their reading interest. Table 3. Respondents' language is spoken at home. Table 3 shows the language is spoken at home by the respondents. The highest number and percentage that the respondents use in their homes is Bicol, with a frequency of 8, with a corresponding percentage of 80%, followed by Tagalog Bicol mixed, with a frequency of 2 and a percentage of 20%. English, Tagalog, and English-Tagalog mix with 0. This means that the respondents don't use English, Tagalog and English, or Tagalog-English mixed, as their second language at all. As a result, it affects their reading comprehension skills because they are not familiar with most of the English words, resulting to inadequate stock of vocabulary words, which can help them read and engage with the text. Table 4. Respondents' result in attitude scale test regarding reading comprehension. Table 4 shows the result of the respondents' attitude scale test. The checklist is mainly composed of sets of questions about reading habits. The highest frequency in the table, which is 41, corresponds to the answer agree. This means that the respondents are not really readers, neither non-readers. The result of the attitude scale test was affected by the respondents' interest towards reading. Most of the respondents do not actually read. Table 5 presents the level of word recognition of the respondents on the following major miscues in the conducted Philippine Informal Reading Inventory. 60% of respondents fall under instructional level, which means that almost all of the respondents can still be taught through different instructions, while one respondent with 10% fall under frustration level. Table 6 shows the comprehension level of the respondents on Phil Erie in English. The division of the respondents' result in comprehension question in the Phil Erie was highly close to each other. 3 or 30% of the respondents fall under independent level. 5 or 50% fall under instructional level, and 2 or 21% fall under frustration level. This means that majority of the respondents can retain the information that they have read, so they are able to answer the questions. With all the data collected, analyzed, and interpreted, the researcher finds the performance of the respondents and come up with the conclusions and recommendations. This study aimed on the developmental reading engagement and assessment mechanism to read of grade 7 students and sought answers to the following questions. First, what demographic profile of grade 7 students in terms of their age, gender, and language is spoken at home? 2. How raft affect or reading engagement of students in terms of word recognition and comprehension? Third, what remediation program can be offered to improve the reading engagement of grade 7 students? The study found out that the respondents' ages range from 11 to 13 years old, and most of them used Bicol language at home. The attitude scale also proved that the respondents were neither readers or non-readers, which had bearings or effects upon the students' ability or skill in reading engagement, and perhaps their engagement in an English classroom as well. The word recognition level of respondents is 60%, which falls under instructional level. Majority of the respondents fall under instructional level, with 50% in their comprehension test and with bearings in developing the reading engagement of students with the use of RAF as role of the reader, audience, format, and topic. The researcher recommends the following interventions. To give the students additional attention to monitor their reading comprehension abilities to improve reading engagement. 2. To give series of reading selections that will enhance their reading skills word recognition and comprehension, and other cognitive abilities that a learner should develop. 3. Provide opportunities for independent reading to develop fluency and increase students' level of confidence with the task. 4. Encourage learners to use word cards, note cards with English words on one side and the meaning on the other side, and study them frequently. 5. Encourage vocabulary learning, both in Filipino and English, through regular tests where students can prove receptive knowledge of words through matching words to definitions or multiple choice exercises. 6. After reading, students must write sentences using specific words in grammatical forms. 7. Encourage the use of semantic map. 8. Teach the students the keyword method. 9. Students should be motivated to love reading with the support of their parents and teachers. With the findings of this present study, the researcher has conceived the above-mentioned interventions and that could help students improve their reading skills, which can also be used not only by grade 7 students, but practically in all levels of education. The researcher believed that the reading engagement enables effective communication between teachers and students by understanding its meaning and origin of the text. This could help the future researchers for further studies on the reading engagement of students, especially today, amidst changes that create language waves day after day. Diyos mabalos sa Indogabos.